Hello, subscribers and fans. Iceman here. So I've been investing some of my thoughts into the concept of Rodan taking place in the new Godzilla 2 film as well as the Godzilla vs. Kong. What do you guys think about that? Rodan's cool. So check this out. I think that Rodan should be introduced in the Godzilla 2019 film as the primary nemesis, if you will. I imagine a common blend of CGI and animatronic effects showing off this monstrous beast of a pterodactyl-like creature in a very frightening manner if done correctly. The film could start with the appearance of Rodan in a disaster film sort of way. I imagine him flying above a city and destroying it with the shockwave in which he emits from the great force of his power in flight. As in a previous Godzilla film, Rodan was capable of such feats. And I remember when I first saw the previews to Godzilla 2014 and we were introduced to the Mutos, I found it to be a terrifying concept. The idea of these monsters from hell being able to fly. Like, can you imagine that? But I don't think they went very far with that, as we've came to find that the male Muto was the only one who could fly, and he didn't really utilize that as much as he could have, in my opinion. So Rodan could be a greater realization of such a trait and ability. So this is how it could possibly go if I were to write the script. And you all know that would make for an epic movie, right? Check this out. Rodan shows up, causes mass destruction on a global scale. Godzilla emerges from the depths, but being a greater power than Rodan, and Rodan realizing this, stays away from Godzilla. So we have these two monsters now causing great havoc on a massive scale. Rodan demolishing many cities. So basically, Godzilla is back on the landmasses again, destroying buildings, distilling fear in humanity, in the attempt to stop Rodan, because he sees Rodan as a threat. All the while, Rodan is avoiding Godzilla, for the most part. They collide a few times in battle, but Rodan soon realizes he really isn't much of a match for Godzilla. And yes, I know, it's not going to be like how Godzilla 2014 was, where he was facing off against an enemy who was almost nearly as powerful as he was. However, we will in this case get the disaster film that I thought Godzilla 2014 was going to be, to where humanity as a whole is simply left at a loss, contemplating the chances of their existence, while these two creatures just wreck the shit out of everything. I mean, it could make for a good film. Think about it. There was 2012. You remember that film where there was hurricanes and shit and everyone was freaking out? Like, it did well in the box office and people were buying tickets because it's scary to see the world in such a situation. And check this out. 'Twas an earthquake that caused such a circumstance. It awoke Rodan and Godzilla. And there was all that magnetic shit going on to where scientists were trying to figure out how to prevent the pulls from switching and land masses shifting. Meanwhile, Godzilla is chasing Rodan, seriously, all over hell. And Rodan is just wrecking these cities by flying over them and causing shockwaves with his wings, powers out everywhere, people are freaking out. So basically, how the film will conclude, it'll be somewhat of a cliffhanger, alright? But humans team up with Godzilla and Rodan to save the Earth. Of course, Godzilla and Rodan aren't aware of this, but that's what's going on at the end of the film. They're trying to somehow utilize their mass and Godzilla's regenerative capabilities to save the planet. And then we get the Godzilla vs. Kong film in 2020. A new enemy appears from a faraway galaxy. That's right, I'm talking about Ghidorah, the three-headed dragon. A kaiju more powerful than any of the others, including Godzilla. Because I remember back in the day when we got to see the Gorosaurus and Anguirus and Godzilla teaming up to defeat Ghidorah. So in this case, Ghidorah will be even more powerful. And the monsters will soon realize this. I'm talking about Godzilla, Rodan, and perhaps an appearance of Mothra as well. Early on, there's an altercation between Godzilla and Kong. Kong showing off his ability to evade Godzilla's atomic breath, utilizing his intelligence to its fullest extent, hiding behind buildings, using objects as weapons, and so forth. But once King Ghidorah touches ground, all hell's about to break loose. I imagine this scene. Ghidorah with his massive dragon heads. Kong hanging on one, being flung all over the place. Godzilla trying to restrain another, and the beam nearly blowing a hole through his body from Ghidorah's mouth, his anti-gravity beam. And Rodan just pecking the shit out of the other head, but the other head grabs Rodan and just hurls him against a damn wall. Like, imagine it. Ghidorah's gonna be freaking powerful, I think. And that's what they should go for. And I don't know, I'm not the producer, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's their job to figure out the rest of this, okay? I'm just throwing it out there. This would make for some badass scene. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this creation of mine. And like this damn video, if you will. I am the Iceman. More videos to come.